a lot of you thinking, okay, how am I going to manage these trucks? I don't have a software, I don't have tools, just need some help. What am I doing? If I have number of trucks, let's say 2 trucks, 3 trucks, 4 trucks, what am I doing with those trucks? How am I, when I search for loads, I need some type of a tool, let's say, let's keep it simple, where I visually can see how many loads I booked or how many loads I'm searching, how many loads I dispatched, what about pickups, what about in transit, delivered, the paperwork. I know it's kind of complicated, but I made it simple and it's free to use. There's a tool called Trello. I did a video about 2 years ago about this, and many people liked it, and people still emailing with this. Kamal, like, what about like automating this? Can you do a video like, automation? For example, if I book a load, can this Trello communicate with load boards? All that stuff. I know it's kind of advanced, but I'm not focusing on advanced. Just know that there are some tools, especially free tools, available to you. And again, this tool called Trello, what it does is basically gives you the option to visually see your entire workflow. Okay? I'll give you an example. Let's imagine that you are an independent freight dispatcher. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a masterclass and I released yesterday. And by the way, just let me know in the comments. Let me know in whatever questions you have. Maybe you're confused. Maybe it's like, hey, we could have done this better. If you can do video on this, if we can have this communication, or if we can do this coaching calls, or Q&As where we can ask questions. And by the way, every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, we do coaching calls. We call it coffee hour because it's not about learning, it's about having fun, but at the same time, obviously asking questions and helping our members. So it's free, right? You just use it or lose it. Cool? Now, imagine that you are an independent freight dispatcher, and again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, first thing you need to do is go to Classroom, click on the up-level dispatching course. It's available to you. Just go ahead and complete that course, and then come back and watch the training that I released yesterday, which is masterclass. Watch that masterclass, and if you know how to dispatch, for example, right, and you're learning in this community, obviously, you just ask questions from the members, and we, with our team, we're here helping you as well. Now, if I'm a carrier and I have, let's say, 4 trucks, my truck's located in Atlanta, Georgia. So you are an independent freight dispatcher. And obviously, you have a load board and you have this tool open. And again, this is free to use. What I did is I basically created this. I don't know, maybe I can do like a copy of this, and you just, I'll give you the link so you can start playing around with this. Now, I have truck number 1, I have truck number 2, and truck number 3, and so on. Okay, so you can name them if you wanted to. And I do see some of my students, they are using it differently, and I will show it to you. This is the different one. I'll show you. And then I do see people using, for example, truck number 1, and then in parentheses, the driver name. For example, truck number 1 in parentheses, Andrew. And truck number 2 in parentheses, Deborah, for example. Truck number 3 in parentheses, Kamal, or Jason, whatever. And some people also just, include the driver information. If you click on the truck number 1, you can see that you can add driver name is Jason Miller. The location, he's located in Atlanta, Georgia. Destination, he goes to Houston or Dallas, right? You can add, you can do whatever you want. You can add, this is description, right? You can add activities. You can add, let's say, checklist. Hey, I did that, did this. You can also have like social media channels. You can have a phone number. You can do whatever you want with this, right? Just play around. It's easy to use, okay? Now I have this for every truck. Now what about truck number 2? Well, this carrier is a driver. His name is Alex. Location, and he's located in Macon, Georgia right now. He wants to go to Los Angeles or Phoenix, Arizona. Well, cool. Okay, I can do that. What about truck number 3? His name is Mike. He's in Oklahoma right now, and the destination to Atlanta or Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. What about, truck number 4? His name is Austin. Okay, Austin Cooper, and a location in Richmond, Virginia, destination Houston or Dallas. Now you know. Okay, now you have a plan. Okay, so now what? Now you're searching for loads. You have a load board open, you go there, and you're dispatching for truck number 1, which is Jason. Okay, I'm looking for a load for Jason, but at the same time looking for truck number 2, right? Now, there is a load from Atlanta to Houston or Dallas, right? So I have this load. And by the way, you can change these colors. You can, label them differently. And as you can see, there's a label, so you can change it to a different color. Maybe you want to assign this load to truck number 2, which is yellow. You can definitely do that, as you can see. Or you can, have both of them and saying that, hey, this load can be picked up by truck number 2 and truck number 1. See this, like, you can play around. It's very fun. It's an awesome tool. It's very easy to use, right? Now, let's say I have this load. I'm searching. Now, what I did is I called the broker. Now, I booked this load. So what's the booking process in a searching and actually booked? Well, when you're looking for a load, meaning searching from Atlanta to Houston, that's the searching process. When you start talking to a broker, that's the booking process, right? Well, you can think of you can just put the searching and then you can remove booking. It confuses you, but I really wanted to think in terms of this is searching and this is actually the booking process, right? And this load is booked. Booked is where you sign the rate confirmation and send back to the broker. This is one of the reasons why I keep booking process, because I talked to the broker and broker said yes. My carrier, which is truck number 1 and truck number 2, said yes, but I haven't received the rate confirmation and I can't move this load. As you can see, one of the advantages of using this Trello board is because we can move these what they call the carts, if I'm not mistaken. So now if I received the rate confirmation and I signed and sent back to the broker, I booked that load. Now this load it's for me. That's it, right? Now what I did is I called the driver. Okay, what's the driver name? Jason, right? I called the Jason. I said, Jason, I booked a load. I booked a load from Atlanta, Georgia to Houston, Texas. Now, I want you to go and pick this load and deliver it in Houston, Texas, okay? So he goes there, he picks up this load, and he says, Kamal, I booked this load. I picked this load up, and we are moving. Well, here's the beauty of using Trello, right? We can move this, what they called, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a carts. So we can move these carts. Now, oh yeah, it's a cart, as you can see, it's a carts. Now, we can move these, right? And that's the goal of using this Trello board. Now, I booked this load. Now, I talked to Jason, and I said, Jason, I dispatched, right? Jason going to pick up this load, right? See, it hasn't been picked up yet. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a load for a truck number 2. Now, I book a load, and again, right, the same process, and I moved into book load, and I move this load for the truck number 4, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm calling this truck number 4 saying, hey, I book a load from Richmond, Virginia to Houston, Texas, okay? Now I have these loads. Imagine this workflow, right? So I booked all of them, right? So I move these. Now all of these loads are in the booked column, right? What I do then if I dispatch this load as well, if I dispatch this load as well, then what I do is, okay, Jason calls me and says, hey, Kamal, I picked this load up. So I'm it's on the trailer. So what I do is picked up. Now, if I see this, that I have this load that hasn't been assigned yet, meaning hasn't been dispatched yet, but I do see I dispatch these, I follow up with these people, right? Truck number 4 and truck number, 2? And then what I do is, okay, so if the truck number 2 calls me and says, hey, Kamal, I booked this load up, and then I'm just moving, as I go. Now, Jason calls me and says, hey, Kamal, I picked up this load, I'm moving, right? Then I put in transit, okay? The reason why I want to see this, now I see that these are the loads that I booked, hasn't been dispatched, these are picked up, this load is already in transit, I'm okay with Jason, right? Let me just remove this. Give me a quick second. Let me just remove this so that okay, there you go. Now, Jason is moving, but why not these 2 people, right? Now, I want them to move as well. So, these people calling me, meaning drivers, saying, hey, we picked up, we're moving. So I put these on like in transit column. Now, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the deliveries, right? The Jason calls me and says, Kamal, the load is delivered. Now I know that one of the loads is delivered. And then I'm looking for these. I'm dispatching it. I'm dispatching this load. And the same thing, I'm moving. It's picked up. Yes, picked up, right? And then dispatch. Yes, dispatch. Moving to picked up. Yes. And doing the same thing, right? That's the workflow, right? So moving from load searching all the way down to load is complete. Now load is delivered, and I'm calling Jason and saying, Jason, I'm looking for the proof of delivery. Jason sends me the proof of deliveries, and then I just move these to the paperwork received column. Same thing, delivered, right? I'm moving, okay, I received the paperwork. As soon as I see that there's something in the paperwork received column, then okay, I need to submit these into the factoring. Now I submit these documents to factoring, right? Same thing. Now what we need to do is we need to move these. If we paid, yes, we paid for this load. Are we paid for this load? Yes, we got paid. Same thing, right? Submit for factoring, got paid. Yes, we got paid. Now, why am I doing this? Why it's not complete? We got paid, but it's not complete. Paid is where driver got paid. Like, did I get my money as a dispatcher? Yes, I got paid. Everything is cool. Then what I do is I move to complete, right? All of these loads are completed. Same thing, right? And I just repeat this process over and over and over again. And again, as you can see now, I have loads, for example, from Atlanta to Houston. Maybe I have loads coming back from Houston to Atlanta, right? Now I'm assigning these loads, let's say labeling back, green, and I'm like, what was the green? Green was Jason, right? So this load is waiting for Jason. Well, Jason delivered load in Houston. Well, I'll be looking for a load, let's say, from Houston to back to Atlanta. So now this load is waiting for Jason. I do same thing. This load is booked. Yes. This load is dispatched. Yes. Picked up, in transit, delivered, paperwork, etc., etc. Hope this helps. I know it's kind of complicated, it seems like, but it's very, very simple to use, okay? Now, my students in my paid community, they're using differently meaning using this Trello board to get their business up and running. And let me show you. One of my students, Konstantin, he's in paid group, did this and shared with the group. And what he said that, hey, listen, I have, steps in my business. I have step number 1, 2, 3, all the way down to, the step number 7. And obviously he's looking for the subscriptions. Okay. Now in the step number 1, this is for those people thinking too much about getting up and running with their businesses, right? Now in the step number 1, basically Konstantin says, well, I want to, really want to get down the name and identity, right? Or brand, or think about my company name, right? My logo, like a little bit of a research here and there, professional email setup. Think about like website design or sales funnel or anything in between. It's in step number 1. He's not moving in step number 2 unless he got all of these checked off, right? Let me give you an example. So he said, use discount service. He says, search and finalize brand name. So if you click on this, see, on the description, he says, search for a company names, make sure that it's relevant in the industry. brilliant. Yes, because I teach inside the community saying, hey, it has to be like, think about people naming their companies whatever they want, and I totally get it. But then, hey, it has to be relevant to the industry. For example, if you're doing dispatch, name something dispatch, or Kamal's dispatch, Jason's dispatch, Express dispatch, Prime dispatch, for example, right? So, and it says Google name and search if the domain name, exists, or maybe somebody already registered that domain. Look at the existing LLC. Is there any contradictions or anything like that? See, like when you have this plan, when it comes to execution, it's much, much easier. It feels like from step number 1, I'm moving to step number 2, I'm moving to step number 3. Same thing if, like, let's say I got all of these and I'm moving into the step number 2, which is registering my LLC, and it says register your LLC, and he says do LegalZoom or Zen Business, and he had the link here, right? So it also says this service provide a bank account for think about non-US citizens, but they change their rules, and now it's not an option anymore. Okay, see, now he's doing the research at the same time, and basically he's up to date, right? Same thing, step number 3, email marketing, social media setup. This is cool. If I click on social media setup, see, set up Facebook page, set up Instagram page, the LinkedIn, then X, which is Twitter, right, previously called. Same thing. Step number 4, QuickBooks, open business bank account, sales, logistics. Step number 5, set up, I don't know this CRM, but he uses some type of a CRM. It says prepare contracts, and if you click on this, you can see review and finalize contracts to send to the clients, meaning think in terms of proposal. Now, step number 6, SOPs, standard operation procedures. He says set up a Trello, and set up Google Voice, register DAT enhanced, standard operating procedures. And number 7, or step number 7, basically final review. And he says soft launch and scale from there. What an amazing job, right? Think about this is the entire process when it comes to, like, if you're thinking, well, where should I start? Like, what should I do? Like, think about that's the benefit of being inside the community, that you are inside the community, right? Whatever questions you might have, just ask me, right? A lot of people asking for the CRM, like, hey, Kamal, this CRM is expensive, that CRM is not available to us. Well, why don't you start with the free? As you can see, as naming, see here, like, it's free. I'm not even paying for this, right? You can start up to 4 or 5 boards like this for free. Use it, one for starting your business, right? Just map out the entire process. For this, for another one, another board you can use for CRM, or for another one for, I don't know, maybe different projects that you're working on.